Hey, what's up, YouTube? So first of all, it is coming, but not yet. So, what we're going to be talking about today is how to deal with regret. Okay, so regret is when you're stuck in the past. It's when your mind gets stuck in the past, because humans have the ability to perceive of time, and time does not exist. Okay, there's no such thing as time. The past, present, future, all of that is happening at the same time. But given that you're perceiving the present right now, or what you're perceiving right now as what you're perceiving right now, that means that you're not going to go to the past. You're only going to go to the future. That's the only thing that's coming your way, okay? Especially with regret. You can time travel, right? Time travel does happen. In fact, I was 6 days in the future and I time traveled back. And I don't even know why I time traveled back, but here I am. And now I'm making a video that I didn't make before. And I got more schoolwork done than I got done when I did live this day the 3 times prior. I don't know why I keep time looping this day, but anyway. Yeah, so my mouth is really dry. I had corned beef and it's really salty. I'm back and I got some water and now my mouth feels much less dry. So, yeah, regret is when you're stuck in the past. The past is never going to come. And with regret, that's going to constrict your heart, because your heart is actually a chestahedron, or a 7-sided 3D object, okay? And so basically you take a triangle, put a triangle on each side of the triangle, and then put a diamond on each fold of the triangles, okay? That's a chestahedron. And it kind of looks like a big pyramid, but strange. And it's a shape that goes like this. It moves in this sort of way. It pumps like that. It's not a totally stable shape. So it pumps like that. And that means, since it does pump like that, it means that it's going to pump energy, okay? That's actually what the chestahedron does. It moves energy. It circulates energy. Your heart is the chakra in your body that circulates the energy. It circulates the blood, it circulates the prana, it circulates the energy, okay? It circulates the oxygen, the nutrients, and all that. That's why your lungs are right next to your heart. And the physical manifestation in your body is that the blood is closest to your lungs and all that. But anyway. So, yeah. When you're letting go of regret, you have to realize, as long as you're regretting, the chestahedron inside of your heart is going to be constricted. It's going to reduce the flow of energy. As long as the flow of energy is reduced, you're never going to be able to vibrate at the 4th dimension. If you can never vibrate at the 4th dimension, then you can never timeline jump or time travel, okay? So, basically, that means that you're not going to be able to change whatever you're regretting, period. Because if you regret it, then your heart's too heavy to do timeline jumping or time travel. And if you don't regret it, then you have no desire left to change it in the first place, because you learned something from it. So let's talk about the order of emotions. So first comes fear. Fear is a state of powerlessness. You think you're about to get killed. Then comes absolute depression, which is a state of pretty much also powerlessness, because you're powerless to the situation and it just keeps on going and on going, but you're not getting killed. Okay, then you have anger. Anger is when you have power over something. Okay, you have power over something, you get angry, you get rageful. Okay, if you can just get pissed beyond belief, then that's better than being depressed beyond belief, okay? Then after getting angry, you can get regretful. Okay, this is where the regret comes in. Regret is there to take you out of a state of anger into a higher vibration. So say the issue is in the past, okay? So the issue is no longer an issue to you now at this moment, but you regret it. So that issue is still inside of your heart. Your heart is still being constricted, just not as much as with the other vibrations, okay? So how do you let go of that? Well, first of all, as long as you regret it, you're never going to be able to change it. Give that idea up. Give the idea of time travel and timeline jumping up, because as long as you regret something, that is not going to happen. Your heart's too heavy as long as you regret anything. Like I've personally done some stupid stuff. I've fallen off cliffs. I've fallen through roofs. I've said some stupid stuff. Okay, and I've done things that I should regret. I don't hold any regret. I've done stupid stuff. Okay, and most people that I know don't know the things that I've done. But I don't regret any of it, even though it was stupid. Okay. And that's because I know if I regret something, then it's just going to hold me down. So there's no reason to regret it. It's in the past anyway. I'm not going to be able to change any of that. So I'm just going to keep moving forward. My brain isn't stuck in the past. And therefore, that's one of the primary reasons that I'm able to time travel. I was 6 days in the future a little while ago, and now I'm back. I think I already said that in this video, but yeah. So, basically, you're not going to be able to change it as long as you regret it. Okay? And after you regret it, you'll not have any desire to change it in the first place. And if you do have any desire to change it left in you, then you're not fully out of a state of regret. So, And that's not to pretty much say, well, you're not going to be able to timeline jump, because you can timeline jump. You just can't timeline jump to change things that you regret. Okay, you could change the color of your hair, you could change the color of your eyes, you could change your skin color, you could change your name, you could literally change your parents' names, you could change your parents' skin color, you could change your house, you could change your country, you could change your language, and I've done all that. Okay. One of the farthest timelines I've been to was when I tried to enter a video game reality and it went horribly wrong and I had to go through hell. Okay? So, yeah, pretty much you can timeline jump. You just won't be able to change the things that you regret as long as you regret them, or after you regret them, because after you are done regretting them, you'll have no desire to change them in the first place, because they will be some of the most important events in your life. For example, during lockdown, I experienced some of the worst depression I ever experienced. I was suicidal. I was feeling terrible. I was in the lowest vibration that I've ever been in my life during the Great Depression, during the lockdown. Okay, it was a Great Depression. And after that, okay, during the lockdown, I pretty much got to a point where I laid on the ground and I didn't even have the will left to do anything. I reached a vibration that was so low where I experienced ego death for like 8 hours. Okay? And ego death is where you lose your sense of self. And now, I didn't take drugs. I didn't take any psychedelics, okay? Though at that point I wish I had them. Okay? No. I literally just got to such a low vibration that I died. Okay? And then, about 8 hours later, I woke up out of that, and I experienced absolute relief from all the regret that I had, all the sadness that I had, and everything. All the abandonment I felt, everything was just gone after that point. I reached such a low state that it's like I just died and started over, pretty much. And I don't actually know how that happened, but pretty much after that, the lockdown ended and I was able to go back to class. But I've been changed since that. That was a permanent changing factor in my life. The worst pain that I've ever gone through in my life. I would never change it. I would never change what happened, those 8 hours, what happened prior, all the suffering I went through, because I don't regret it. I've learned the greatest lessons I've ever learned from all of that pain. That's what we have to realize about regret. All the pain that you go through, all the stupid things that you do, all the people that you lose, the dogs that you lose, the relationships you lose, are there to teach you something. And after you learn that symbolic lesson, or that literal lesson, actually, it's always symbolic. There's always a symbolic lesson, because in Christ consciousness, divinity into focus, there is always a symbolic lesson. Alright? And sometimes there's a literal lesson. But there's always a symbolic lesson. There was a fly. Anyway, so, yeah. After you get out of a state of regret, then you don't want to change something anymore, because it will teach you something grand. Okay? So, and my mouth is still dry, because, like, wow, that was salty. I didn't realize how salty it was when I was eating it, but, like, I'm gonna need some water. Anyway. Yeah. So, pretty much, that's how you get out of regret. You have to realize you're not gonna change it, period. Something you regret is when your higher self is teaching you a lesson, a divine lesson. That's what regret is caused by, okay? The greatest pain in your life comes from your higher self teaching you the best lessons that there is to offer. Okay? And that sounds like something someone who hasn't suffered. That sounds like something someone who hasn't suffered would say. I've suffered. Okay? I have suffered. And it's true. The lessons in life always come from pain. So, yeah. If you've just grandly screwed something up, you're not going to be able to change it, because there's some lesson in the fact that you screwed it up. So, I have made a video about this before. You can't use timeline jumping or time travel as a way of escape. You can't use it for escapism. That's something that I've been told a lot, like, oh, this is just escapism gone bad, this is maladaptive daydreaming, this is, schizophrenia. I've been told I'm schizophrenic too many times. I've been told that I'm crazy and all that. You can't actually use timeline jumping as a form of escapism, because if you hold any regret, if you hold any heaviness in your heart, if you hold any malice, you can't do it. And so that's pretty much the proof that I've gotten from experience that it's not a form of escapism, because I've tried to use it to escape, and you can't. So, yeah. So you might ask, if you can't use it to escape something painful, then what's the purpose of timeline jumping in the first place? Well, what's the purpose of life in the first place? Like, what's the purpose of life in the first place? We make $1 million. So what? It's just paper. Okay? We build a huge building. It's just stone. Like, pfft. We make a new planet. Bro, it's just a ball of rock. Like, in the end, there's no purpose to anything. And that's pretty much nihilism, but it's purposeful nihilism, except it's not purposeful nihilism. Look, none of that really matters. The purpose of anything is singular. There's one purpose to anything, and that's to experience. What's the purpose of playing a video game? It's to experience the video game. What's the purpose of drinking water? To experience life. What's the purpose of not eating salty corned beef? Well, it's to not have a dry mouth, to experience not having a dry mouth. What's the purpose to eat salty corned beef? To experience having a dry mouth. Okay? The point of anything is just to experience it. Okay? What's oh my god. What's the purpose of going to Mars? Just to experience going to Mars, so humans can continue to reproduce and experience and reproduce and experience and reproduce and experience and reproduce and experience reproduction. That's literally the purpose of all of it. Okay? So what's the purpose of timeline jumping? Just to experience. Just to experience another universe. That's literally it. Okay? That's literally the only purpose of anything. So, yeah. Can it be used for escapism? No. But can it be used to experience new realities? Yes. Okay, so in our mind, in our primal caveman hunter-gatherer mind, we're designed to think of what we hate as an enemy, okay? So if our clan is being attacked by chimpanzees, we're going to think of that as an enemy. We're going to take up hands with those chimpanzees. Well, in reality, we're going to take up spears with the chimpanzees and probably would eat the chimpanzees. But let's ignore that fact. We're going to make an enemy of the chimps, okay, if there's a chimp attacking our village, alright? And so, pretty much, if you want to deal with an issue in your mind, a good technique that I use is to villainize it, okay? Literally to make an enemy out of it, because you have to use the archetypes of the devil or the demon or the adversary. That's what those words literally mean, adversary. Well, demon actually means daimon, which just means spirit, but anyway. Or the diaphil, adversary, or accuser, okay? So, pretty much, if you're holding on to regret, that is actually a demonic sort of thing. Regret that holds you down. If you give something enough energy, it's going to form itself into a thought form. And if a thought form is holding you back, then that's essentially a demon. So, if you have chronic regret, if you've had regret for the last 10 years, that regret has by now definitely turned into a demon that is attached to you and taking your energy. But that's almost a good thing, because since it's now turned into a demon, you can banish it away from you. You can get it out of you, okay? So, imagine that your regret is a demon, okay? Or imagine that your depression is a demon. Imagine that your anger is a demon. Imagine anything is a demon. And literally just meditate, okay? Like let's do a prayer right now, okay? So, pray with me here if you're full of regret, okay? I'm going to close my eyes, get all preacher here, okay? In Christ, all the regret in my mind, in my heart chakra, in my soul, in my aura, in every chakra, will be deleted. My code will be encrypted, and nothing else can infect it. There will be no virus that can crack the code to my mind, and I will be a sovereign being. I will have power over my reality, and nothing can force me into a state of regret or powerlessness. I am Christ. It is done. Okay? So that's a prayer you can use. That's a prayer I use all the time. Or variations of it. I pretty much, I don't say the same thing, because if you say the same thing over and over and over and over again, it just loses its meaning. Like, that was not the same thing I ever say. I always say something based on what I mean. What I actually mean is what I say. So, because repetition causes meaninglessness, so don't repeat yourself too much. If you repeat yourself too much, trying to use flowery wording or stuff like that, it just becomes meaningless. Becomes meaningless and powerless is what I was trying to say. Oh my god. I'm telling you, my mouth is a different level of dry, okay? So, yeah. Goodbye.